Hi, everybody. Dr. Karen Osburn here from Mom at 41. Welcome to my lovely basement where I'm broadcasting the webinar today. So I will just kind of give it a couple minutes to get started. As I can see, people are kind of logging into the room and everything. Really excited to have you guys all here today. I'm super pumped to teach this webinar. This is actually the second that we've done now with Mom at 41, and just an amazing way to connect with you. So what I'd like to do is if you go over to the right-hand side, you'll see a chat bar. So if you want to just pop on in and just maybe let me know where you're from so I can see. So far we've got Patty, Allie, Lori, Leslie, Alicia. If you just want to go to the chat and just to say hello and let me know where you're from so I can give you guys a shout out then too. And maybe even where you heard about the Desire Map webinar would be cool also. So just go ahead, introduce yourself, pop into the chat. This is a very interactive webinar, and there's some that you might have attended where there's maybe not as much interaction, or it's just kind of a bunch of slides, which we're going to do some of that fun stuff too. But I'm going to do this, make this very interactive, and so I'm going to really engage you a lot throughout the webinar. So get ready, it's going to be lots of fun. So I'm going to actually pop right over to the slides in just a moment. But yeah, Patty, Allie, Lori, Leslie, Alicia, if you want to just go over to chat to say hello and to let me know where you're from as well, that would be awesome. So I'm going to actually add this to a little sticky message. And please go ahead and fire away. Don't be shy. It's always like the first person who's not really sure how to get this whole thing started. So by all means, feel free to kind of come right in. So I'm going to give maybe one more minute. I know people kind of like popping in afterwards as well then too as we get started. But I really want to make sure we're respecting everyone's time and that we're really keeping this to around the 16-minute mark. So awesome. So yeah, go on over the chat. Let me know, where you've, and it would help if I actually enabled the chat box. Okay, so now I know when's answering right now. So yeah, go on in if you want to just to type in where you're from, maybe where you heard about the Desire Map webinar, how you've heard about me or Mom at 41. I would love, love, love to hear from you. And we'll just give it a minute and then we'll go right in. So I'm actually going to flip off to screen or to seeing me. Hello, Patty from Columbus. Allie, cool, you're a chiropractor, right on, that's great, from Bolton, very cool. I actually, Allie, am from Ottawa originally, and my husband, Ed, is from little teeny town north of North Bay called Sunbridge. So Ontario is definitely still kind of hometown for us. And hi, Alicia from Charlotte, North Carolina, very cool. Okay, so I'm gonna flip over. We'll just give it again about another minute or two, but this way you'll be seeing the actual presentation when we go in just a minute. So we'll flip off of me. Can you guys, now I'm going to keep the chat here so I will be able to answer any questions that come up. Certainly too, I might ask you some questions throughout. So can someone just go ahead, or one person or a few people, let me know if you're seeing the Desire Map webinar slide that's now up with a picture of me and my little boy Kai. If you can see that, okay. If you just want to type yes then into the chat box would be great. I'm also going to add all of your names into the random picker. So this is actually going to be for the draw that's at the end of the webinar. And also let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm sure you can, from obviously some people have responded so far, but let me make sure that I can hear you okay as well. Cool. Hi, Leslie from Bonnyville. You're very close to us. That's awesome. Bonnyville, Alberta. Your makeup artist. Lovely. Slide us up, Allie. Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. And again, I know with some webinars, not everyone's kind of here at the very beginning. So thank you also, Alicia. I appreciate it. Everyone's saying slides up. So I'm going to go right in then and get started right away. So first of all, welcome. This is the second webinar that we'll be having of many with Mom at 41. The one we had a few weeks ago was the top 7 tips to decrease holiday stress for moms. And you'll either see me on the webinars or I'm going to have some guests. So we've got really awesome holistic nutritionist. Her name is Ashley Sorokas. Who'll be coming on the webinar in January. So I'll have some really exciting information about that coming up soon. So first of all, thank you so much for being here today. I acknowledge you all for that. I know that being a mom can be crazy. And for a lot of you are moms, it can be a bit of a juggling, thing to get here on the webinar. So I just want to know how much that I sincerely appreciate you all for being here today. And this is going to be a very action-packed, soulful hour, pumped full of great, great stuff. So I'm really excited to jump on in. And hello, Timmy. I'm glad you could make it. I see Timmy's on here as well too, a friend of mine. All right, so let's kind of continue here then. So my intention, so no, this is not a wine bar. I saw this. I don't know where I saw it online, but I'm like, oh my God, this is so great. I have to throw it up in the webinar. So yeah, no wine unless you want to go get a glass of wine yourself right now. But my intention for today is I want to really connect with each of you and start you on the process of discovering your core desired feelings. My hope is that you'll be part of one of the first group of desire mappers that'll be taking through the process of my upcoming Desire Map workshops that are both in person in the Alberta area and the virtual ones, and those are both starting in January. So my promise to you right now is that over these next 60 minutes to be as focused as I possibly can to deliver an experience that'll really fulfill that intention. And you might have hopped on this webinar for different reasons. Maybe for some of you, you're kind of struggling in life right now. I tell you, that's definitely with me, with trying to figure out how everything's kind of fitting in. Maybe for others, you're looking for some answers. Maybe this webinar you looked at because you said, I'm just not really happy in life right now. I'm tired of not feeling the way that I want to feel. Or maybe you're doing awesome, but you just like to learn more on how you can really live a life based on your feelings and not just your goals and your accomplishments and your to-do list. I also want to say hello to Amy and to Kimberly. So welcome to the webinar, ladies. So regardless, whatever your reason for being here today, I really do. I truly, truly honor that. So let's go through a little bit of a rundown now as well to what we're going to do over the next 60 minutes together. So I'm going to first go ahead and explain my why with the Desire Map and Mom at 41, where I actually came from to where I am today right now speaking to you on this webinar. I'm going to take you through some of the exercises to start the process to give you some taste of what the Desire Map is really all about. So if you haven't already too, this is a great time. You'll have some time and a little bit later as well, but to have your pen and paper ready or a journal, because there's going to be some interactive part of the webinar too. So if you have a moment, just go and grab that right now. And then I'm going to give you all the details of both the in-person and the virtual Desire Map workshops that are happening in January, and to share with you a special gift just for being on the webinar today. In addition, I'll be doing a free draw for everyone who hangs all the way around to the webinar at the very end. So you got to be here live when I actually do the drawing for this. I'll be giving away one of the webinar registrations for free. So that's up to a $347 value. And you get to be in one of our first Desire Map workshops, which is very exciting. So housekeeping stuff. So I want you to turn off your phones, focus the best you can, especially if you've got kids that are around. Take some notes to be engaged if you want to. Please don't go on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. I know it's hard. We're in the time of so many things and windows open and all this stuff going on at one time, but you're going to really get the best out of this webinar by being present. So really give yourself permission to do that today. If you need to run off for a moment to be with one of your kids, no problem. Just do your best to get right back. And although this is being recorded, again, you're going to get the most out of really being here engaged and for me to be able to share this with you live. I've participated in lots of webinars, a few that I've taught, but a lot more that I've actually been to. I don't know if you have as well. Then do. Actually, I'm going to ask you that question. How many of you have actually been to a webinar before? So if you want to in the chat, just go ahead and if you want to just chime in to say, yes, I've been to one, or no, I haven't. And I've definitely been to webinars live, been to lots live, and there's some I just couldn't make it. So I had a lot of moms today said, oh, I signed up, I can't make it. Am I still going to get the replay? Or couldn't make it from the get-go? And I just assured them, hey, still register, but just make sure to, you get the replay afterwards then too. So go over to the chat and either type in yes if you've been to a webinar or no if you haven't. I just want to kind of get a little bit of feedback from you to see, who has attended a webinar or not. So again, type yes or if you've been to a webinar or no if you haven't. But yeah, you're going to get the ones that are live are really, you get the most excitement, the most out of those ones versus the recorded. When I listen to recorded ones, I may be doing a couple things at once, that kind of thing. So Allie said, yes, many. Yeah, me too, Allie. Timmy came to one live, which was me. Awesome. And Leslie's been a few as well. Awesome, ladies. Cool. So yeah, keep using the chat throughout. I am definitely kind of watching that as I'm speaking. Any questions that that do come up, I try to answer them live unless I'm kind of in the flow of something. And then we're gonna have a question and answer at the very end as well too, to be able to clear through any questions that I might have missed, or you can throw up new ones at the time. If it's so jam-packed with questions, then I will kind of keep track of them. And then all of you can be getting the recorded replay as well. So if you want to watch it again, you want to share it with a friend, and any that are not answered during the webinar, I'll make sure to record that as well. So yeah, Kimberly saying this is my first. Awesome. I'm glad to be first webinar with you then, Kimberly. Alicia, several. Yeah, lots. All right. So let's continue here then. So gifts and goodies. So I'm going to email you, I mentioned with the recorded webinar or the replay afterwards, the Imperfect Mama Holiday Gift Guide, which you may have had already. Some of you that are newer to Mom at 41 don't, but this is actually a gift guide for you. So for you to give to Santa, hubby, your family, and a lot of these are actually books to really, you know, guide you in your mama journey, if you will. I mentioned too a chance to win a Desire Map Workshop registration, and that's up to a $347 value. So you got to be here until the very end to do that. And a really sweet bonus when you register for the Desire Map Workshop, and actually we'll get money off that then today. So my promise to you, and I know this is a big one as well then too, is to really to start this process of discovering your core desired feelings, life-changing work. I really do feel that this is. There's a reason why, and you'll understand when I share my experience in just a moment as to why I just went, you know, full out with this, and why I'm so excited to share this with you today. I also want to start to shift your mindset from maybe moving through life to actually designing your life, and to jumpstart 2015. We're like, what is today, the 10th? So not many days left until we're into a brand new year. So I love this to actually be your best year ever. So who am I? Now, again, some of you know who I am. Maybe the practice members in our chiropractic office here in St. Albert know me through Mom at 41, listen to Mom at 41 podcast. But I actually came to Mom at 41 because of a real challenge that I had in my life. And that was that I had actually struggled with infertility for a number of years, actually about 7. And so it was the reason that when I finally became a mom through adoption, this was actually a story that was done through us with our local paper, when our little guy, our little peanut there, Kai, who's I'm holding in the picture, was, gosh, actually in that picture, I think he was just a few weeks old. And that article came out when he was about a month or 2. So, but if it wasn't for this journey, for this struggle, for all the pain I went through, there'd be no Mom at 41. We wouldn't be having this conversation. So Mom at 41 is me. That's when I actually became a mom, was at the age of 41. These are my boys. So Tyson, who's on the left, that's headed actually at his 4th birthday party, which was just recently, about a month ago. And then Kai on the right, he doesn't like clothes, as most boys do not. But yeah, these are my 2 boys. I'm a mom first when it comes to all that, which I know a lot of you feel that way as well then too. And then I'm a wife second. So this is my husband and I, Ed. I actually dragged this picture out from 1999. This is when we moved to San Jose to go to chiropractic college. We were together, I think, about 7 years at that point-ish. I think somewhere around that. And this is a more recent one. So we've been together for 22 years. We met in a bar. I know it's not a very romantic story, but we met in a bar. We've been married for 14 and a half years, together now for 22 this month. And we've been through lots of stuff. Some good, some not so good, major life curveballs. I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but, you know, Ed's really is my best friend. I love him so much. He's my business partner as well. He's a great daddy. He's funny. Even when he's driving me nuts, I still love him, and we're really in this together. And I'm also a chiropractor. So my brother's a chiropractor. That's actually how I got involved in chiropractic. I worked in his office for about 4 or 5 years. Then I decided this was kind of a calling for me. So Ed and I went off to California with not a whole lot of money, not really understanding or knowing how we're going to make it work, and we made it work. He actually started studying anthropology and then switched to chiropractic after 2 years after he saw how much fun that I was having. And we opened up our wellness chiropractic office, which is Synergy Family Wellness Center, in 2002. So we just celebrated our 12th anniversary. We see tons of kids, babies, families, do lots of education to really teach our patients how to adapt better to stress with their chiropractic care. We've taught workshops on how to reduce stress, symptom relief, how to have an extraordinary life, how to really eat, move, think, have purpose. And so we definitely have a lot of fun with our office. So what happened is I actually started blogging for our chiropractic office website a few years ago, video and written ones. And it was the parenting ones that really had the most comments, likes, shares, all that kind of thing. So that's kind of what started me on the process into Mom at 41. My inspiration are these 3 ladies who I admire so, so much. And so Brene Brown, I don't know how I didn't hear about her until this time, but I heard about it about a year ago. And I'm sure you've all heard of Brene Brown by now, The Gifts of Imperfection, Enduring Greatly. She's been on Oprah Super Soul Sunday. She's just this amazing woman that talks about imperfection, and everything that she says I completely resonate with. The middle person is Glennon Doyle Melton, who you may not have heard of before or know of, but she has a website called momastery.com. So like monastery, but momastery.com. And she's got a very challenging background that kind of got her to this place. And I read her book, which was called Carry On Warrior, in May of this year. And really similar message to Brene Brown, just very raw and vulnerable and talking about motherhood being tough. Having those honest conversations that we all really crave to have. And then Danielle Laporte, which is why we're here today on this particular webinar. I actually heard of her first at the listening to a School of Greatness podcast about a year ago. And I heard this chick and I'm like, wow, she's kind of she's very different. She was almost very intimidating, and that's a very odd feeling for me to have. I don't really feel that very often, but I was just like, wow, I was really intrigued by her. She's talking about desire, and which to me just sounded very, I don't know, it was different. It was different than what I'd kind of heard people talk about when it came to goals. And so I kind of, shrugged it off, got some new books at the beginning of that year, which should be 2014 this year, got hers. It sat in my pile for a while until I got to it. And then I opened up, I read it in June. I went, oh my gosh, how come I didn't get to this sooner? So I'm really, really inspired by these three women. And I want to read with you a quote too from Brene Brown, which is one of my favorite. Any email from me, this is actually in my tagline, which she says, you're imperfect, you're wired for struggle, but you're worthy of love and belonging. I'm going to read that once more because I think this is really important. And this, to me, is one of the main reasons why I actually created Mom at 41. So let me read this once more. You are imperfect, you are wired for struggle, but you're worthy of love and belonging. So when after I read the Desire Map, and I've been a very driven person, very goal-oriented, and traditional goal setting was just kind of like wah-wah, like it just felt blah to me. It was falling flat. It didn't do it for me anymore. And so I just, I would kind of, I don't know if you have this. So if you set goals and you go, okay, I'm going to set goals for this certain period of time or this quarter or this year, and you hit one or two and the rest kind of goes all out the window and you go, oh crap, that didn't really work. And you add it onto the next goals list. So it just really stopped having that feeling for me anymore. So I read the Desire Map then. And again, I kind of told you the story of how I finally did read it. I think I devoured it about a week, at least the first section, which we're going to talk about the first little part of the webinar, and then on to the workshop part of it. And then my mind was like blown wide open. I love this picture of Bert that I found. I thought that was hilarious. So, but yeah, I read it. I was just like, oh my God, this woman's like in my head. Like I don't really know how else to explain it than that it was just everything that she said was just completely resonating with everything that I was feeling at that time. And so talking about these core desired feelings, really basing your life, your decisions, having a blueprint of where you really want to live your life. So I read the book, kind of went on with life. I still had this burning something, this message, this vision that I really wanted to get across, but it was kind of blurry. I couldn't really explain it. It was just more of a feeling. And I've been blogging, as I mentioned, on our chiropractic office website for a couple of years. The parenting blogs, and I wrote about chiropractic and nutrition and movement and purpose, and I wrote about books, but it was the parenting ones that hit the most. Those are the ones where the moms would email me and say, yes, Alicia's saying, I agree about goal setting. Yeah. Doesn't it? It just starts to just feel like nothing. And I don't know with Danielle Laporte's work, with her being a woman, if it's more of us women that really resonate with this more, but because we're more feeling based, I think, than a lot of men. That's a little bit more in our DNA. But yeah, the blogs that I wrote about parenting, that was the ones the moms were coming to me saying, that thing you talked about having a mommy meltdown? Oh my God, I thought I was the only one. Or, that thing you talked about motherhood being hard? I feel it every day, but yet I don't feel I can have those conversations with my family, my significant other, my spouse, or I certainly can't tell my girlfriends because they have it all together, which P.S. they do not. It's just nobody's talking about it. So when I started to kind of to get all this, I thought, okay, so let me see. So I'm getting all these messages. What should I really talk about? Should I talk about, I know I want to talk about motherhood. Should I talk about challenges with infertility? Should I talk about adoption? Should I talk about being a first-time mom in my 40s? And then it kind of hit me. And it was all these conversations. I went, it's about being imperfect. It's about embracing. And it's about not feeling like you're the only one making mistakes and not feeling like you know what you're doing. So connection, community, inspiring, supporting other moms with this message, that's really what I wanted to do with Mom at 41. This was my purpose for putting this all together. And I wanted it to be through my voice. I didn't want it to be just written word. Written is great. I think we've all read stuff. but people read some of the things that I write and really say how much it connected with them and they appreciated what I had to say. But at the same time, to be able to say it in my voice through a podcast, with the Moment 41 podcast, it both scared the crap out of me, but it also excited me at the same time. And so that's where Moment 41 really came from, is to have this conversation saying, can we talk about being imperfect? Please, can we please stop putting all the perfect pictures on Facebook, which that's cool, but let's just have honest conversations, because we're drowning as women and as moms not being honest about this stuff. And the more that we talk about it, the less shame that we feel. The more that we give light to it, the less it has a chance to really let us feel down and to help us really move through these moments. So this is how Moment 41 really came all about. So in June, I started the process of creating the podcast. I went through what I want to talk about, my vision, the tech stuff. I have to give a big shout out to my hubby for helping me with that, growing the community. I thought really that the big part of it would be the blogs, because that was what I was used to doing, was all the writing, but it's actually the podcast that took center stage. In June, beginning of June, I started the Facebook page. I think it was maybe mid-June. The podcast launched on July 29th, but I started the Facebook page and it like exploded. Within about 4 or 5 weeks, we were at 3,000 likes. Now, I know from how much I have been working so hard in social media for our office that just doesn't happen just like that. Like we had probably, after 3 years of me doing posts every single day, several times a day, we were at maybe 870 likes on Facebook. So to see that big of a response so early, I knew that I was onto something. There was obviously, this was a message that moms were just craving to hear about. But also too, with all of this, with the blogs, podcasting, creating the community, it's been very difficult for me. Don't get me wrong, I love doing it. I love. It's such a passion for me. But at the same time, it's been a juggling act with my full-time practice, my 2 young boys, up late at night, every single night, up early every single morning. But it's really been this passion that's been driving me all along. Within about the first, I think it's 8 days or so, we hit new noteworthy. So if you ever go into iTunes, you'll see that they'll have new noteworthy for all of iTunes, and it's based on country settings. So if you're here in Canada, you'll see the Canada iTunes. If you're in the US, you'll see US. I can't remember if this chart was US or Canada. We were kind of at the top of the charts with both at different times. But it lets people kind of see what are the hotter podcasts, what are people listening to, who's getting the most reviews. And what I found recently too, Apple just kind of decides if they like what your artwork looks like, which is the little picture, then they'll feature you more. And if they like what your message is, then they'll feature it more than too. So it's been awesome. It's been a roller coaster ride. But it's really giving me a really wonderful platform to be able to reach other moms out there than say just the blog that they have to kind of search to find a little bit harder. And what I was really looking for with Moment 41 was to go further, right? So it's cool to be able to podcast and to talk to you on a regular basis and for you to be able to have the chance to listen to it again and again and again. But I wanted to be something more. I wanted to be able to have coaching, something that I could really connect with other moms. But I just couldn't really find, I couldn't really find the forum to do that. I couldn't really find the structure. And so kind of moving forward, beginning of October, so over 14 days, kind of all these things fell into place. So beginning of October, I heard Danielle Laporte speak. I was actually here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and blown away. I've heard a lot of speakers over the year, from big names like Tony Robbins to local speakers to, tons of different people over the years. Danielle Laporte is definitely one that will always stand out for me because she was so unique and she basically, no really format. She kind of ad-libs. People threw out different words and she would talk about them. It was just incredible. Timmy was actually there. So Timmy, you know what? Go ahead, put in the chat box. See I want to hear from you what you thought of that too. Actually, I know what you thought, but just so I can kind of share what other people as well, thought about. And I also would like to hear, before I continue too, how many of you have read the Desire Map? If you want to put yes if you've read the Desire Map, or have even heard of Danielle Laporte before. So just go over the chat and you can just type in yes or no, or what you think of her as well then too, as I'll kind of continue to tell this story. But yeah, so I heard her speak, blown away. I'd heard about this seminar she's doing, which was called Open Books. And so one of my big dreams too is also to write a book. I love to write. And so this seminar was really with her. The picture you're seeing is Danielle Laporte on the right. In the middle is Justine Musk. She's a best-selling fiction author. On the left is Linda Siverston, who's also an author, and she's actually has a company called bookmama.com. So she helps writers get to publish or get to the point of actually publishing a book. And so I was like, I'm doing a seminar. And so I flew down to Santa Monica. It was a one-day seminar. It was amazing. And actually, so I signed up for that. So I heard Danielle Laporte speak. A few days later, I signed up for open books. About a week later, this is before the open book seminar, I signed up as a Desire Map facilitator. So Timmy's saying, yeah, amazing seminar, definitely worth seeing. And actually, you know what too, Timmy? It was you who turned to me. I don't remember this when we were listening to Danielle Laporte speak and saying, have you heard of her licensing program she's doing about the Desire Map? You should do it. It would be really cool. And I'm like, I don't really know. I don't really have time. And, I'll see kind of thing. So, but yeah, and then it was like a week after I signed up for open books, I signed up as a Desire Map facilitator, and kind of here we are. So yeah, so some of you have heard of her, some haven't. Leslie saying you heard about it through Timmy. Alicia saying, no, haven't heard of it, but very interested. Amy saying no. Allie, have not read the book, have followed her through social media. Yeah, she's really, really great on social media. I love her message. You definitely get a great flavor for who she is and what she's all about. So yeah, so that's kind of the series of events that kind of led us all up to this moment today. And so, this really helped me have the structure when I knew. So I think Ellie, you would say follow her through social media. She's a great businesswoman. So I knew that whatever program that she was going to put together for those that wanted to facilitate and teach these workshops, that it was going to be an awesome one. I know it was going to be incredibly organized. I know there'd be lots of content and great stuff in there. And I love that her message was combining kind of soulfulness, if you will, maybe not as meaty, if a little bit more woo-woo, with real practical stuff. And so I love that both about her. So yeah, Timmy saying I was hoping to be silent. Yeah, your hope came true, Timmy. It was like a little bug in my ear. I kind of left that night. I was like, maybe I'll look a little bit further, and kind of here we are. So Danielle Laporte says this about really feelings and that. So knowing how you actually want to feel is the most potent form of clarity that you can have. Generating those feelings is the most powerful creative thing you can do with your life. I love that quote. So why teach the workshops? Well, the book itself is a great start, and you can certainly go through exercises in the back of the book. But discovering your core desired feelings, that's the short form, our CDF, so your core desired feelings, in a community, to me, was everything. So you can go through the back of the book and go through those on your own, and that's cool. But to me, having in a group the accountability, the support, the encouragement, it's kind of hard sometimes for us to do these things on our own, especially when we're moms, even in our own circle of influence. And we're so connected to feelings as human beings, especially as women, as I mentioned before, that I think having your goals really rooted in how we want to feel made so much sense to me. And to do it in an environment, whether it'll be the virtual ones through 5 weeks of hour and a half on a Sunday to go through the process, or for those that are actually here in person to be able to do it, live and to be there in that space with a group of women, I know is going to be incredibly powerful. So I found a venue, and kind of here we are. So I'll give you a little bit of details. We'll go into more of it towards the end because I want us to get right into the exercises very soon. But the in-person will be here in St. Albert, Alberta, Friday and Saturday nights, so the 23rd and 24th, Friday evening and a full day Saturday. And the virtual will be anywhere you are around the world. So that could be if you're local and you just can't make it. Or maybe that's just too much time, can't get a city, your kids are really little, whatever that might be. And it'll be through GoToMeeting. And so when you register for the virtual, I will then, as we get close to it, send you the link. And that'll be, you'll be able to call in through your phone every single Sunday for 5 Sundays, starting on the 18th of January. And it'll go from 8 to 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So I know for those of us here in Alberta, that's 6 to 7:30. I know it's early. But it's a tricky thing with that because, we've got people listening and following and jumping into the webinar kind of all around the world. So these will actually be recorded. So if for some reason you can be live, then you can listen to the recording and we'll go through all the exercises that way then. And that's where we got to here. So I want to go ahead and get started right into it. So I love this quote too from Danielle Laporte. I'm going to throw out a whole bunch as we go along, but this one really rings true with me. Can you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? And she talks about, goals that you're not chasing the goal itself, but you're actually chasing a feeling that's associated with the goal. And so what has been your experience with goals? I've had a few people, I think it was, I have to kind of scroll through the chat or take a look, but someone that I mentioned earlier just saying like, yeah, I've had goals and not really, they're okay. I feel all right about it, but nothing really all that exciting. So just go ahead and throw in the chat. When's the last time you set a goal? How did it go? Did you have a great experience with it? Does it light you up when you actually have goals, or are they just kind of, so-so? So just go ahead and throw that in the chat, and we'll kind of answer these as I go along. But yeah, goals, we have lots of different feelings. Some people I know will say that, yeah, awesome quote, Allie, I totally agree. Great. Which, you know what, honestly, Desire Map book. And although doing the Desire Map workshop, it's not a prerequisite to read the book. I know people are going to actually, when you attend the in-person, you're going to get a copy of it as a gift from me. But man, everything that she says, it's just gold, totally gold. But yeah, a lot of people who've talked to me about goals are like, oh, I don't set them because I never get to them. And so I feel like I'm always going to disappoint myself. So just like, forget it. I just won't do them at all. So goals for a lot of people have kind of been that experience, if you will. So it's neat, this totally different spin on it. So the Desire Map, in kind of a glance, if you will, is a series of exercises, questions, journaling, soul surfing work of really discovering your core desired feelings. And actually, I'm going to go back here for a second. The Desire Map book, if I can, I'm going to stay on this one. Anyways, the Desire Map book, after reading the first part of it, we'll call in the first part is like the theory, the essence, or the juice of her book and desire mapping. And the second part is actually going through those exercises. Some people do them, they go through all those exercises in a day. Others will take a week. Some will take a month as well too. So I'm just answering you from Sherry. She's saying it's hard to set goals because my life doesn't always work in regular time and space. Yeah. And Kim was saying I struggle with it too. Alicia's saying I was setting goals but fall off track. Totally. Like, I'm so with all of you women. Absolutely. And I've been also too, where I'm the hardcore, let's say type A, but maybe a little controlling at times of like, I'm going to make all this stuff happen, come hell or high water. Maybe I'll lose sleep, but I'm going to make these things happen. And somehow this feeling of accomplishment of the list getting done. And, you know, that works maybe once or twice. And then it just starts to feel shitty after a while. It does. And you kind of get a little bit disillusioned. So, yeah, so I'm really glad all you women here today, because I know you're going to get so much out of this. So coming back, so both the formats of the Desire Map workshops will actually get you there faster, I believe, than actually going through the book. And there'll be more momentum, more energy of the group, all being part of this collective, this, you know, energy, spirit, and this real mojo, if you will, of really taking a look at our life purpose and meaning. So the Desire Map actually takes a look at these five areas you're seeing on the slide. So livelihood and lifestyle, body and wellness, creativity and learning, relationship and society, and essence and spirituality. And then those core desired feelings are based on those 5 areas. So although we're going to go through some things today, it's going to be just a little bit of a taste and a flavor. Obviously, you know, in a day-and-a-half workshop or a, you know, 5 different separate day on the virtual workshop, we can't hit everything, of course, but this will give you a little bit of understanding. So key questions you'll explore going through desire mapping are things like this. What am I grateful for? What's not working in my life? What are my core desired feelings? How do I really want to feel each day? How do I generate these core desired feelings? What do I want to do, experience, or have? What 3 or 4 intentions or goals will I focus on this year? So by all means, just know there is, again, I mentioned, you know, earlier, there's a practicality with this. So it's not just the secret, build it and it will come. That's awesome. But unless you do put some action behind, I'm sorry, but it doesn't work that way. And what will I do this week to generate my core desired feelings and fulfill my intentions and goals for this month? And so Danielle Laporte came out with last year, I think was our first one, of a day planner, and she's coming out with a digital one as well too. Right now it's written, which is kind of cool. I like that. There's something more organic to me about writing versus typing and having stuff on the computer on my phone. But yeah, that's something then too. I'll send you those links for the Desire Map Planner if you want to check it out on her website. And that's really a good place to put all the things you're gonna learn from the workshop and put it into that system, if you will. So just to answer, Amy's saying short-term goals work better for me than long-term. Yeah, when attending school and having structured schedule. Yeah, and that's the hardest thing too, Amy. I agree. I think just not having a structured schedule when you're a mom, right? Like, it's a gong show in my home on many days. And so you can plan stuff really well, but I think unless you want to be frustrated every day, you have to almost surrender a little bit to the chaos of being a mom and having children. And it means that those goals might not be in a straight line, right? They might be a little zigzaggy as we kind of go throughout the process. Okay, so before we get started, I want to know how everyone's doing. So we're about halfway through. So we're going to start digging into the soul searching deep stuff. I'm going to have you, if you haven't right now, go grab pen, paper, journal, whatever you want to, computer, if you want to type on that, that's cool. But we're going to start going through some of the exercises. So how are you doing so far? Questions that have come up? How how can everyone still hear me okay? You can see stuff okay. I like to kind of at webinars just halfway through because there's so much information. I know there can be so much that you're kind of processing as you're going through, is to just kind of connect in. So let me know how it is. Is sound still okay? Can you still see the picture okay? It's this funny thing when I do the webinar because I can see who's here. I can see the chat, but I don't know. It's not like I'm speaking to a group where I can gauge interactions and kind of, you know, pivot and change as I need to in that live experience. And so I just have to go off of what you're actually telling me. So go into the chat, let me know how you're feeling, how's energy, grab a drink of water if you want to, and then we'll go right into some of the exercises in just a moment to get started. So actually, and I'm sorry, there's some new people on here too. So Sherry, welcome. Laura, welcome. Kimberly, welcome. So excited to have all you ladies here. Okay, so let's dig deep then. We're gonna go right in. Say goodbye to Joey. Oh, we miss Friends. Hey, I love Friends. Okay, so this is the warm-up. So some of these exercises going through, so Sharon saying, cool, enjoying it. Alicia, thumbs up. Awesome, thank you, ladies. Okay, so when you're going through these exercises and when we actually do them, whether it's in the virtual workshop together or in the live as well, then this kind of beginning part of some of these questions, and there's about like, well, in this particular section, there's about 12 to 15. I pulled out like 2 or 3. So it's to kind of get you out of your head and more into your heart. It's to kind of, this is all content I pulled out of the book as well then too, is to park your brain and really engage your spirit and just know there's no right or wrong. It's just here and now. So don't feel you have to censor stuff as you go through. I want you just to really just let the kind of the words come out as you're writing, and we're going through the exercises. And so these are rapid fire questions, these beginning ones. This is, again, just to get out of your head into your heart, and we'll go right into it. So if everyone's got their pen and paper, whatever writing, write on your child if they're nearby, write on a diaper, I don't care, but we're just gonna start the process. So let's go right into it. And with each one, now, when you're going through it, and obviously in the Desire Map workshops I teach coming in January, it's not gonna be like, hurry, 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 get to the next question. But for just the purpose of staying on time the best that I can, we will kind of keep it to about maybe 30 to 60 seconds. So feel free to kind of go back and revisit these later. So I want you to think of first just, and you know, I'm not going to talk during it. I'm just going to have a little bit of a brief pause as I do, because I just want you to think. I don't want you to be hearing me as you're thinking of things, because I think that may be a distraction. So I want you to write down what you think of when you see this. I crave. And I'll give you that short period of time. Write down whatever you're thinking of with what you crave. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Other than time or money, what I want more of is... Okay, next one. What do I do most naturally? So let's go to the next section. So I feel funny. I feel like I should be like playing the Jeopardy theme song or something like that. Shows you how uncomfortable we are sometimes with silence. Okay, so the next section is talking about sensations of positivity. So these I put all in a row. So and I know this sounds a little bit kind of funky and out there, but what does joy sound like to you? So the sound of joy is, the color of joy is, and the scent of joy is. I'm going to give you just a little bit longer on this particular slide since we've got 3 questions. Okay, so we'll continue. I know I'm happy when. This is one of my favorite sections here. So talking about relating to people and relating to life. And one of my favorite things, vulnerability. So I feel vulnerable when. I'm proud of. And the last one we're going to go through is what moves and touches me deeply. All right, so I would love to see in the chat then if you want to type in, how is this process for you? Now I know we're doing like a little soundbite version of really what we're going to go through at the Desire Map workshops, but was this difficult for you? Was it easy? Did it feel enlightening? Was there a block? Was it hard to kind of think of things? Just throw in the chat what it was like for you. Now again, it might seem, I know when I was actually going through the exercises initially, and truth be told, when I first read the book, I didn't finish it. I didn't finish all the exercises. I kind of got halfway through and I just kind of, like for no conscious reason, just kind of put it down. And then when I went back and I'm going through them again, it was actually, I did it on the way to Open Book Seminar in November, just about 5 or 6 weeks ago. I was like, where are these questions going? Like, what do you mean? What's the color of joy? Like, what the heck does that mean? And, but you know, I just kind of went with it, and it brought you to this place of really finding out, how is it that I want to feel each day? Kind of, there's some questions that are kind of light ones, there's deeper ones, and it all just kind of goes there. But I just, you know, my purpose was to give you a wee little taste of what this was about for you, what the Desire Map workshops will really be like, but obviously on a much grander and not so, you know, again, quick, rapid fire. The rapid fire is cool, but, you know, not for all of them, right? So Timmy's saying enlightening, some questions are easy to answer than others. Yeah, I found that too. You know, I was looking back on my answers, and I was actually, when I was planning for the webinar, I was going to read you mine as you're going through, but I just thought, oh, it's too much noise. I want you guys just to really kind of think about it. So saying, Allie's saying she liked the rapid fire, don't have time to think or contemplate. I just put what comes to my mind, which is obviously exactly what was at my core. Yeah, that's a cool point, Allie. Very true. Right? I think sometimes we might go like, bah, I don't know if that's what I mean, or let me find a better way, or maybe that's not really it. But yeah, really good point. Sherry's saying, love it. Helps define or narrow my stuff. Vulnerability, stretching outside myself, coming up against myself. Yeah. You know, it's all such important stuff for us to really talk about. And I know with being, you know, a mom particularly, it might feel like, oh my gosh, when do I have time to do this? And so these workshops really give you the time to do that. You know, imagine if we now teach our kids how to base their lives on how they really feel, right? So yeah, Sherry's saying she agrees with Allie. Amy's saying agree with Timmy. Some questions were easier than others, and other ones I just left blank. Kimberly's saying had to think more on some of the questions. Yeah, and you will, you know, there'll be some time for that. There'll even be some women that experience the workshop, whether it's the virtual one. The virtual one will be a little bit different, right? Because you're able to kind of, you know, leave that call and maybe kind of keep working on it. But for the weekend one, I definitely see that it will be more of a process. So people will maybe still be processing. It might be after the 1.5 days, you don't go, here's my core desired feelings. Yay, here it is. And it's all laid out. It might just be more of a starting the process. Alicia's saying, great, easy. I don't really think about these things, but on a consistent basis. But if I did, I'd probably be more true in life and achieve my desires faster. Yeah, I wish there was an edit button. You can always change your answers, Alicia. Oh, do you mean maybe for the chat? Okay, well, possibly. We'll leave it up and we won't worry about spell check and the crazy stuff that comes up with that. But no, that's really good feedback. And again, we'll be going through this in a group. And again, whether it's going to be the virtual or the in-person, there's power in that group experience. It's a very different feel than you're just kind of doing stuff on your own. And so what I actually did when I went through and did my core desired feelings and finally kind of got to here. So here's mine. So when I finally went through the process, I just want to pop in here too. Sherry's saying, I love that, teach our kids to operate from the, yeah. How much of a different world would that be, Sherry? Hey, or would that be for our children to say, hey, I want to live a life where I feel good every day, not because someone thinks I should be a certain way or I think I should be a certain way, but really from that core. I mean, this is life-changing stuff. This is where I know it might, when I throw out words like life-changing and soul-searching and all these kind of buzzwords that I might sound like whatever, but it is, I do believe there's a reason I've kind of gone to this extent and invested the financial investment to become a Desire Map facilitator, doing this webinar, book and rooms, and all that kind of stuff, because I really do believe in this process. I just think it's powerful, and we all need to do that. So my core desired feelings are this. I want to feel each day free, connection, creative, strong, and light. It's kind of cool. This little picture you're seeing, you can go to the DanielleLaporte.com, and she's got little pictures that you can actually put that together and then have that to put on Pinterest and Facebook, or, you know, put it up wherever you want to have that as a reminder. And so what the core desired feelings really become is a blueprint on how you live your life. You're going to base your decisions on this, what you do, where you spend your time, who you spend your time with. They're all based on how you want to feel each day. Now, this is a process. So please don't think for a moment that I'm someone that has it all worked out, because I don't. And there are days when I'm not feeling this stuff at all. But, you know, it's getting better. It's more just having that reminder, right, that understanding. She even talks about, you know, have these on a Post-it note. Have it up in different places so you're seeing those core desired feelings on a regular basis as a reminder, not just something where you do and just kind of put away in a book, you never see it again. You go, oh yeah, that Desire Map stuff, remember that. But you have that as a constant reminder. And I just find for myself, it's getting more clear as I move towards a life that really feels good more days than it does not. So when the Desire Map came out a couple years ago, there's kind of like a lot of buzz in the celebrity community and different teachers and those online. So I'll kind of read you a copy. So this is, I haven't actually seen The Fault in Our Stars. I've seen very few adult movies since my oldest boy was born 4 years ago, but I've heard that it's cool. But anyways, this is Shailene Woodley, who's an actress. She said that Danielle Laporte reps the sisterhood thing in women's empowerment. The Desire Map is basically charting the things that you want in life and not just sitting back and saying, I'm going to manifest this, here's how, but actively doing something to manifest your dream. Terry Cole says, as a therapist, I make the Desire Map required reading for clients looking to take their lives and life satisfaction to the next level. This is a genius and profoundly effective guide to actualizing your deepest desires. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with all this stuff. Chris Carr, you might know her. Her website is Crazy Sexy Kitchen. She's actually a really good friend of Danielle Laporte's as well, too, but she is another very badass chick in the online business world. And then Michael Beckwith, who you might have seen if you've ever watched the movie The Secret. And he is just as a pastor, amazing, amazing human being, but all people that have really very much, resonated with the message that Danielle Laporte has with her book and with the Desire Map. So I want to go into the next slide and actually then giving you what this is all going to really be all about. So the Desire Map, so, as we're kind of going through as well into, is this something that's kind of intriguing you? Is it, is this inspiring you? You're kind of like, oh, this is a really good taste, but like, I want more of it. Then the Desire Map workshop is really the next step. And so I'm going to go through each of the two different types. So the in-person is here in, again, St. Albert, Alberta, Canada. It's going to be at the Wellness Within Spa, which is located inside the Enjoy Center in St. Albert, very much accessible from Edmonton as well. And so at the workshop, you're going to get the Desire Map book, including the audio file. So I actually purchased these through Danielle Laporte's website, and so you'll get the audio as well, which if you haven't heard her speak, or if you have, regardless, she has a very cool voice. And so I was listening to one of her previous books on audio, and it's great to just hear her read it. So you can get the audio file as well. Desire Map workbook, which is the middle part. So it's basically the back part of the book in a separate one. And so that way, if you wanted to in 6 months or a year go through this process again, you'll have the back of the book and you can use that section and have the workbook for the one actually in the Desire Map, the workshop itself. Healthy lunch, snacks, and beverages, actually all cooked and baked by me. I know, I'm crazy for doing this, but I got to tell you, I can't find a caterer that I feel would make good food. And it's the food that I eat, which is really, really healthy food. So all that stuff's going to be provided. So on the Friday night and all day Saturdays, so you will be fed well. 11 hours will be the total amount of time then for the seminar. So 11 hours of connection, soul searching, digging deep exercises. So you got a little bit of a taste of what we just went through, and support to really discover your core desired feelings. Plus, I'm going to have a surprise gift. So you got to hang out for that. So it's limited to 20 women only. A few have actually already gotten their seats. So there's just 18 spots that are left. So if it's something that you're here and you can make that time, or, again, for me, I've just often, like I mentioned, with the open book seminar, with the Desire Map facilitator, I don't know how I'm going to make this work, but I just felt such a calling, and I just was like, I need to do this. And I did, and I followed my heart with it. And so if that's what you're feeling too, I would definitely go ahead and opt on the one if you're here locally, because I know that's going to be, not that the virtual won't be amazing as well, which I'm going to show in just a moment, but this will really get you like quite an experience, be able to connect with other women like you, which I think is also very powerful. So the next is the virtual one. And so with the virtual, as I mentioned, will be over 5 Sundays, starting January 18th, so 18th, 25th, February 1st, 8th, and 15th. And this could be anywhere in the world. Now, again, I had to kind of choose a time. The majority of those that either are on the Mom at 41 Facebook page, listen to the podcast, are actually in the US, and most are on Eastern time. So I kind of set it around that. So I'm sorry if you're here in Alberta. Yes, that's from 6 to 7:30 in the morning. However, it's probably before kids wake. And so I had to also be mindful of that for those, again, most of the people in my community are moms, and so if not of little ones. So 8 to 9:30 Eastern time on those 5 Sundays. And that'll be through GoToMeeting. So as I mentioned before, you will actually get emailed the link and you call in. So you just call into your phone and you're on for those 90 minutes. You'll get the Desire Map worksheets. So those will be ones that are emailed to you. This is all through digital version. This will be 7.5 hours of, again, the same process: connection, soul searching, digging deep, and support. So you can really discover your core desired feelings as well. What's kind of unique about the virtual one is that you'll get the audio file recording of each of the 5 sessions. So that if you wanted to go back, if there's something that I was talking about, maybe something that someone was sharing that you would like to kind of to revisit or to hear again, or maybe you want to go through whatever the exercises are for that week and to kind of hear it again, then you'll have the audio. So that's kind of neat about the virtual one. I know for some it'll just be a matter of geography. You're in North Carolina, as someone had mentioned earlier, you're in Ontario, or you're in Italy, and I'm sorry, but you're not going to hop on a plane and get here, right? And so, but I still want you to know that whether it's the in-person or the virtual, I think they both have their just beautiful, beautiful components. And so one unique thing again with the virtual is you'll have the audio to be able to go back to. With both of the virtual and the in-person Desire Map workshops, you're going to be able to be part of our secret Mom at 41 Desire Map Facebook group. And so this will just allow, more of just the event of the 2 days if it's in person, the 5 Sundays, but to really be part of that community. And so that with me and your fellow Desire Mappers, that you'll be able to connect with. And so I'll make that available for those after the day and a half, the 2-day event. And then for those doing the virtual, after the first session, you'll be able to actually, you can actually go on the Facebook page, be asked to be joined, and then I'll add you to that. So I belong to several Facebook groups, some for podcasting, some for online business, some for the Desire Map licensee is on there too. And it is just such an amazing way to be able to connect with others who maybe you never even see, right? Maybe it's just all online, but allows you to really to be part of this community. So you've got some more support. So it's not just if you're feeling stuck or you're feeling alone in some stuff, that you can really have that support. So I'm going to share with you a really, really quick story before we finish up. Then shortly we'll to question and answer, but I'll give you an example of how great this community is. So I forgot to share with you, I put out a video this morning on Facebook. I'm going to share with you a story of how this webinar almost happened. Okay, so last night, the slides you're seeing are on Google Drive. So it's like a PowerPoint, but it integrates well with the webinar program that I have. When I went in last night to finish doing it, I had quite a bit to finish and polish and pictures and that kind of thing, and to go through all the text and check for errors and all the good stuff. Google Drive was down, and it was down, and it was still down, and it's like 9:45 at night, and I'm freaking out. I'm like going, I have no other copy. It's in Google Drive. I'm screwed. I'm going to have to stay up the whole night and to recreate this in PowerPoint and kind of figure out, like, honestly, I'll tell you, that's, if you want to know my determination and passion to get this to you, that's what I was willing to do. Thankfully, I didn't, and I finally, got right in there, and Google Drive popped back on. I was like, oh my God, I've never been so happy to see that in my life. But what I did is actually I went on to one of my podcasting groups, and I said, hey, who's having challenges? Instantly I had someone go, here's my phone number, call me, I'll help you through the process. So if I wasn't part of that particular podcasting or business group, never would have been able to know what to do. I'm like Googling stuff, going, who knows? So being part of an online community is really, really powerful. So the special gift for being on the webinar and making it all the way through to the end, which honestly most of you have been all the way through, which is awesome, I love to see that, is two. So one is actually the first bonus, which is a big one, which I know a lot of you will love and definitely jump in to grab this offer, is to get $100 off either the in-person or the virtual Desire Map January workshops. So this is a great time to jump in. I know they're going to fill up as well too, and most likely way before January. I maybe even suspect maybe even before January 1st that this will be, both the programs will be full. The second one is I actually did a program in October called the 30-Day Mama Meditation Experience. Some of you might have been a part of it. If you did, you're welcome to gift it to somebody. But what I've done, as opposed to it being a live program, it's now actually one where you can actually start at any time. And so with that, you get a guided meditation by my friend Sherry, who's a wonderful meditation teacher. You get different checklists, and you get a mindful moment that's actually emailed to you every single day over 30 days. So this was a paid program, and you're going to get this as a bonus for actually registering for the Desire Map workshop on the webinar today. So here's how that works. And so your investment, so the Desire Map workshop, the in-person, so we talked about everything that's included. That's normally $347. So on the webinar, if you were to purchase it then today, would be $100 off, so just $247. Desire Map virtual workshop, normally $247, $100 off makes it $147. And again, the bonus of the 30-Day Mama Meditation Experience. So I would definitely encourage you, grab your wallet, hop in to do this. You'll see them through. I'll take you through the whole process. So I found whenever we've done webinars, people are like, where do I click and where does that go and stuff? So you're going to see at the bottom right where the arrow is pointing right now then, you're going to see let me make sure I've got it up here as well then too. The add to cart, the yellow add to cart button. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just double checking to make sure I've got this in. Yeah, okay. So it says January Desire Map webinar, in-person or virtual, $100 off, add to cart. So you're going to click that yellow button. So go ahead and click that. And then we go to the next slide. Then you're actually going to get to the sales page, which is on the Moment 41 website. So the top will be this. You'll see picture of me, Desire Map workshop. Are you ready for some goals with soul? And if you have any questions as I'm going up, please feel free. I'm still checking the chat. So pop right in if you're having problems or whatever. Sherry's saying, Google Drive down. Yes. And I had an angel to help me out. I sure did, Sherry. Yes. All right. So you're clicking on the add to cart. You're now on this page on the website. You're going to scroll down to the bottom of the screen, and you're going to now see this. And so this is actually showing the Desire Map Workshop webinar special. The in-person is the first one you see. The top purple arrow on the right is showing the drop down. So if you click on that, that'll give you the option of virtual. So you're going to select either the in-person or virtual. So whichever one, again, works for you geographically, or which one would work for you best for timing. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to click on the Buy Now button. What that does is take you into PayPal, and you purchase from there, and it's super easy. So whether you have a PayPal account or you can pay credit card, but that's basically it. So you're clicking on the yellow button you see at the bottom at the webinar right now. It won't pop you out of the webinar. You'll be able to, it'll open up in a new browser. It'll take you then to that top page of the website. You scroll down, you're gonna select in-person or the virtual, click buy now, it'll take you to PayPal, and it's pretty easy. And then after that, I'll actually send you a confirmation email as well. And I'll be actually added to a separate group that I'll be able to connect in with you as well then through a separate email newsletter to kind of keep you updated as we get closer to the workshop dates. So I'm going to get to the giveaway right now. I'm going to make sure that everyone is here right now who I have on the list. So definitely hang around. And we're going to do about 5 or 10 minutes of questions afterwards. We're 1 o'clock right now. That's my alarm that just went off if you might have heard it. So if you need to leave, do that, fine. Definitely, but you know, for this offer, I am going to have it for the webinar only. So you've got about 5 or 10 minutes to still opt in, grab your wallet, and to go ahead and do that. I'd love, love, love to really take this further with you. I really do honor all of you for being here today and taking the time out. But you know, we gotta move from there. I want to be able to go a little bit deeper with you, and we'll be able to actually do that at the workshops. So I'm making sure everyone that's here is on my list. I have a neat little program which is called Random Picker. Which, by the way, is just a little free online thing because I want to make sure everyone is here. I've got everyone added. I think I have everyone on here then too. Let me just double check one more time. 3, 4, 5. Now, if for example, if you're like, oh, I'm gonna wait and see if I want it first. If for some reason you've already bought the program and if you do win it, I will promptly refund that back. So don't worry if you've opted in or you're in the process like you want to wait or something like that. Still go ahead and do it, and if you do win, I'll make sure that I refund that to you right away. Okay, so I've got this picture of Animal. I'm a big fan of the Muppets. So drum roll, I'm gonna go ahead and click pick a random item, which is a lady's name. Give it 1 second as it's doing that. All right, Laura, you have won either an in-person or virtual Desire Map workshop. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. So Laura, I can see that you're here, but I want to make sure you're actually here, not just computer on. So go ahead and just type in saying, yes, I heard. Sherry, the yellow button should be, you're just typing in, it should be at the bottom right of your screen. So can everyone see that? It says, the bottom right says January Desire Map webinar, in person or virtual, and it says $100 off and a big yellow add to cart button. Does everyone see that one? Because that's where you're gonna actually go ahead and to do that. Do you see that now, Sherry? And also Laura, let me know that you're still here. Go ahead into the chat and say, yep, that's me. Because if not, I need to draw for another name. And then, yeah, we'll go into questions in just a moment. So Sherry, let me know if you see the yellow button, if anyone else is having a problem with it. Cool, Sherry's saying yay, Laura. Sherry, do you see the yellow button now? Can you see that on your screen? Should be able to, it's what I'm seeing here right now. So again, just at the bottom, there's that. If for some reason someone didn't or popped off, I'll send you the link right afterwards then too, but it should be right there that you're actually seeing is that add to cart button. Big yellow at the bottom, and that'll take you right to the page as well then too. So Laura, if you're here, please go ahead and say, yes, I'm here, because I don't know if it's just your computer's been left on or if you're actually still here at the webinar. So I will give it a few more minutes, and then we'll go into some questions as well then too. So Sherry's saying she doesn't see the yellow add to cart. It might be in the pop-ins tab. Anyone else? So Leslie's saying I see it in the pop-ins. Okay, so you can click on the button then, Leslie? Are you able to see that okay? It took me like, okay, cool. Okay, so Sherry, you have to exit chats and click pop-ins. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for that, Ale. It's kind of always hard because I'm on the other end of that. So as you were seeing then, Les or Sherry, as you were seeing, so click on the pop-in part, and then it should go right into that then too for the offer then. And you'll be able to click on that yellow button. If for some reason then too, if anyone is still having a challenge, then please let me know. Like just go, so I'm gonna write down here, so Sherry, and I have all your emails then too from when you're registered. I'm write down here, Sherry, so I can email you the link then afterwards, and I'll still extend that then to you. And then Laura, please let me know. Laura, are you there, hon? I want to know and make sure that we give you that registration. I'm going to give her a few more minutes, and this will give you then time then too, so to be able to go in. So Sherry says thanks, cool. So I'm going to assume that you found that okay. Then Sherry, you can click on the add to cart and get right into to get your registration for that then. And then I want you to throw out any kind of questions. So, you know, are there things that have come up that, you know, you're not really sure about? Do you want to know more about the, what the workshops are going to be about? I think it's pretty clear as far as time and what you'll be getting with that experience. Is there any of the things that have come up during the workshop that you're kind of wondering about? I know I had a couple questions kind of set aside for some people that couldn't make it and asked that I answer them. They're going to listen to them on the replay later. So one was saying that now that I have my core desired feelings, and once I go through the process at the workshop, how do I use them? Okay, so that's a really good question. So, as I mentioned, you can write them down and have that as your blueprint. I actually purchased one of the Desire Map planners about a month ago for 2015. And so she has actually on there like particular pages which allow you to write in every single week. Write down, here's my core desired feelings. Here's how I'm going to address them. Here's the things I'm doing to actually help fulfill and to have those feelings that I'm trying to feel on a regular basis. So you can get things like that to really help you in the process. But I think that's it. That's just kind of the starting point is getting to that and figuring out some kind of a system, whether it's even just a sticky note and have them up around your house of having that reminder of how you want to feel each day, and to make sure, again, the choices that you're making, the decisions that you're making, who you're around, how you spend your time is really all based on those core desired feelings. So I will keep us open for, we're like 1:05, but I'll keep us open for another 5 minutes. So let me know if there's any other questions that you have, or if anyone else is having some challenges with the add to cart button, or if that's still really cool and okay. Questions? I actually had a couple more and I was kind of looking for them as well then too. But any questions, feel free to go right into chat and we will do that. And then what I'll do for Laura still hasn't popped on. Sherry's saying, will the planners be for sale at the in-person workshop? Maybe, Sherry. Good question, but I don't know how many that I would need to order for that. So possibly, I'll tell you what, I will be open to it. What I might do, you know what actually might be cool is I might actually take pre-orders. So if I have 5 people that say, yep, I want to get them, I can order them through the main site and be able to have them for purchase then at the workshop. So we could maybe plan it that way, especially for the first one, that we could do that, Sherry. But otherwise, what I'll do as well is in the follow-up emails, you guys are going to get an email from me in 3 hours. So check your inbox with the replay that you're more than welcome to share. Any kind of links and stuff we talked about, I'll put on there. I'll put the sales page just in case people couldn't get through and still want to register for the workshop if there's some kind of a glitch on their end or my end. And I'll have also the link to Danielle Laporte's website. So if people want to get them more in advance, because the planners actually share you're going to start January 1, right, 2015, and the virtual starts January 17th. The in-person starts on the 23rd. And so this will allow people a chance if they want to, start having it before the workshop date, they'll have it then. But I'll have the link on there, which you're welcome to go straight to her website and order it directly through daniellelaporte.com. So really cool question. So other questions, ladies? And what I'll do with Laura, because I feel badly, I don't know if she's just like, a kid's having a tantrum or somebody's freaking out or she had to pee or something like that. And so what I'll do is I'm gonna actually message Laura and I'll give her another kind of 10 minutes to actually respond back to me. And if she hasn't, then I will actually do the draw one more time. If you did actually purchase your Desire Map workshop already, I'll happily refund that back to you if you are the winner, if Laura doesn't jump right in. And I will do the new redraw. So you're gonna get 3 emails from me, 3 hours out, 3 hours, and then 24 hours after this finishes. So you'll have that replay. I'll have the links on there as well then too. And there'll be just a set period of time that you're actually able to watch that. So by all means, if there was a girlfriend like, oh man, she would have loved this, forward her the link. She can certainly watch it. And at least she won't have a chance, obviously, to win as you guys did and be able to kind of have this live experience, but at least she'll still be able to go through the content, see if it's something that she'd like to come to then too. So Adrian has asked, is this something that stay-at-home moms can incorporate in their daily lives? Heck yes, Adrian. Heck yes. Yeah. I know Danielle Laporte's talked about this of, when she's created her work. I mean, she's talking to stay-at-home moms. She's talking to those in the corporate business world. She's talking to musicians, creatives, definitely a lot more women than men. Yes, SAHM is short form, Sherry, for stay-at-home mom. I'll see that in a lot of like chats and Facebooks. That's the kind of acronym. And Sherry for stay-at-home was SAHM. That was Sherry's question in the chat there. But as Adrian said, yes, stay-at-home mom. But yeah, this is really for everybody. You might take a look and say, well, it's different. I have kids, and I get that. It might be something that I think you have to be a little bit more flexible, right? Adrian, you have to be a little bit more understanding if things fly south on certain days, which they do at any given moment. You know, shit happens, right? I mean, gosh, I was telling you, I almost like lost the webinar last night, went, oh my God, what the heck am I going to do? So I think stay-at-home mom, single mom, woman with no children, single person, married person, I think this is really something that is for everybody. And so that's a really, really great question. And I think it's really you seeing how this is going to fit best into your life than Adrian. For other stay-at-home moms that are listening, or who've got friends who are saying, well, how do I do all this stuff? Because it's all about my kids. But here's the thing. You got to make it about yourself first. You just have to. I know that's really counterintuitive to what everyone says out there in the world and what you've been told and what we think we're supposed to be as moms. But if we don't care for ourselves first, how are we going to care for our children? So I will give another minute or so, and I just want to kind of wind up as well. And we've got a few more slides here. So oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that one. That's me jumping with my husband on our 10th anniversary wedding vow renewal in Maui. But really, I'm really, really excited to connect with you all. The Design Map webinar is coming in January. By all means, you've still got a few more minutes. I will actually leave this page open for about 5 minutes. So I'll mute, so you won't hear me putting away computer and turning things off and all that as well then too. But yeah, they'll still give you another 5 minutes to be able to jump in to, you know, grab your credit card. If you've got PayPal, you can do it through that. But I would really love to help you in this process. I really, really want to honor you for being here. You're truly awesome. Anything that you have, questions you have, I'm an email or a Facebook message or a Facebook post away. So please don't be afraid to connect with me or think that I'm too busy. I make time for everybody in this whole process, and especially those that are part of Mom at 41. I'm so, yeah, just very honored and humbled and blessed that Mama 41 has grown as much as it has, and I never want to have it where I can't connect with you all. So, and then Sherry is saying, yeah, I agree, we've got to take care of ourselves, take care of others. Yeah, sometimes a little harder, Sherry, hey, too. We know this, but do we actually do it? I think that's the biggest thing. So if there's other questions, actually, I'm going to put this on mute then shortly. I will leave it up for another 5 minutes. So this gives you a chance to still go on the offer. Again, as others had said on your end, and I'm so sorry, but yeah, you want to click on the pop-in, and that'll be able to bring you then right to the offer. You can click on the add to cart, and you're good to go. But otherwise, and I'll leave the chat open too, so as I'm kind of packing up, any more questions that come across, please feel free. Otherwise, you can Facebook message me, post on Facebook, the Mom at 41 Facebook page. And the emails you've gotten from me too for the webinar, that's the email, which is drkaren@mama41.com. You can just even reply back to those too. So thank you, ladies. It has been a blast hanging with you for this last hour. I really honor, love, and appreciate all of you. And have a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you in the next webinar.